folks, welcome back to another episode of the Sporting Life Show. I'm here to talk to you guys, of course, about my favorite gun, the Beretta 486 Paralello, and specifically why hunters favor the 28 gauge, particularly 28 gauge side-by-side. But I want to dive into the 28 gauge and why I myself love it, and I'm going to dial into it even more this season. So the 486 Paralello you can find at BerettaGalleryUSA.com or Beretta.com. Either one of those links work, and I've also got the link in the show notes below. I also want to thank Beretta USA for, of course, providing me with this beautiful firearm, but then also supporting our show. So the 486 Paralello is a very, very, very elegant work of art. It's my favorite setup, if I'm being totally honest. When it comes to any shotgun, I'm a fan of side-by-side shotguns. Also the 28 gauge for a number of different reasons that I do want to outline. So first and foremost, the 28 gauge is lightweight and easy to carry. So it's important to think about that when we're putting on miles in the woods, in the field, wherever you're hunting. I've taken this gun everywhere from the piney woods to the sandhills in Nebraska, and I'll be taking it up to Oregon this year. But with it being lightweight and you're putting on a lot of different miles, this particular firearm is very, very, very comfortable to carry. You can stay in the field a long time. Honestly, this is a really, really, really comfortable resting position for me. Even with it being rounded here on the bottom, it actually sits really well on my shoulder. Also, carrying this gun comes in at about 6 pounds-ish. So it's really, really not a cinder block to have around in the field. I also have what they call the splinter stock model. So the other thing that you want to know about the 28 gauge, and again, I'm speaking specifically about the side-by-side in this case, but of course, this counts for over-under as well. But in this particular gauge, you will experience reduced recoil. And that makes a difference when you're looking for an accurate shot. You only have a limited number of shots, especially in the wild bird woods, man, or wherever you are, whether you're a preserve or anywhere else. But when you don't have a whole lot of opportunity, maybe a smaller sight window, anything like that, you want to make sure that your shots are well placed and accurate. So the 486 Paralello is ideal for both novice shooters and experienced. This is, of course, when I was starting out early, this was the top of the line and still is the top of the line, but this was my dream gun. So also with the 28 gauge, and honestly, tradition dictates this is fairly standard nowadays in the uplands. And despite how small it is now, 28 gauge is right above a 410. The shot pattern is effective for both upland game and waterfowl. I actually shot my first Canada goose with this particular gun at Habitat Flats, and shout out to Tony Vandemore for that. But the 28 gauge, in my opinion, offers the most consistent patterning out of all of the upland gauges for both close to medium range and also them extra long pokes that you might throw up every so often. The shot pattern in the 28 gauge is the most consistent, and I shoot this particular firearm like it's a third arm. The other thing that I want to talk about with the 28 gauge is tradition, right? Beretta specifically speaks about tradition and innovation, and this gun is all of that. It's everything from tradition, meaning, your classic grouse hunters out there, my 28 gauge guys, 28 gauge or 28 gauge club guys, folks like me down in the piney woods where you don't show up with a 12 gauge, right? You want to show up with classy and something indicative of heritage. Not saying that others aren't, but again, when in Rome, you do like Romans do. But tradition dictates for upland hunters, this is the esteemed gentleman's gun, gentleman's round, gentleman's gauge. So showing up to the field, you're going to not only let folks know that you got the skill set, but you also respect tradition. So the other thing that I want to talk to you guys about is versatility. Again, I told you guys I hunt upland with this gun, but also do waterfowl as well. I know I don't need a bunch of shots. 2 is just fine, and I did really, really well. Like I said, out goose hunting. It is my favorite gun. It is snap shooting, quick firing, comfortable, well-placed shots on very fast wild bobwhite quail, pheasants, anything. If you need a gun to do it all, you can. This is it. This is going to be where to go. So the many other things that I kind of want to talk about are some of just my experiences with a side-by-side shotgun. Some folks don't necessarily prefer a side-by-side, and sometimes some folks don't prefer an over-under. Some go both ways. I'm one that has both types of guns, and because I've had everything from a 12 gauge to a 410, the 28 is where, if I have to say the gun that I shoot most consistent with, it is this 28 gauge 486 Paralello. Out of the many firearms that I've had, this is by far the most consistent shooting piece that I own. So yeah, check it out, man. Go make memories. I have a lot with this gun. My wife also, I want to note, loves shooting this gun. When we go to the Clays range, when we go to Tom Lowe, she absolutely loves shooting this one, and this is the one that she actually asked me to pull out over my 410 and over some of the others. Even over a few ladies' guns, she still prefers this 486. So the other thing that I want to talk to you guys about with this particular gun is the fact is how it shoots. From my personal experience, I spent some time this weekend at a Nemacolin resort. Nemacolin, I guess, if I'm supposed to say it like that. But anywho, and I actually shot this 28 with my buddy Chris Rockwell, and he was shooting a 28 over under just to make the competition a little even. Of course, what I've always noticed about this particular gun, it swings very well. It actually, there's not a lot of like whippiness with this particular gun, as I have with my 410 side by side and over under. This gun actually swings pretty evenly, but it's a punchy gun. So it's still not a gun that I just did really well with really long range shots, but it can do it. So the clays that I shot that got a little bit further out from me, I actually hit a few that I was less confident in, and I think that's because of the patterning. But where this gun really excelled was targets that were anywhere between maybe 20 and say 40 yards. It's a really punchy gun to shoot. Very, very good in the woods. It's a gun that is snappy enough for rough grouse and piney woods hunting as well for quail. And of course I did well in the sandhills, but I had no issue with getting in through the woods swinging, whether it be on birds or breaking clays in what I would consider punchier environments, more clustered, scattered. It does really well there. So the gun, just as far as versatility, by far, again, on all of my hunts, I have been the most consistent with this gun. Is it a duck gun? No, but can it suffice as a duck gun? Absolutely. But yeah, this is gonna be more geared towards your upland hunters. Someone like me that occasionally goes out and duck hunts, and I'm always gonna shoot a double barrel gun. I also want to note that the 486 Paralello comes with a barrel length, at least what I have is a 28-inch barrel length, chambered for 2 3/4 inch and 3-inch shot shells. A standard 4N wood finished recoil pad, none there. And of course, an English stock, my favorite. I just personally like shoot it between pistol grip and English stock. It's really a personal preference. I've got guns with both, but I personally, if I had to pick a gun, both of my side-by-sides actually are English stock. It also comes with tri-block technology, and of course it falls into the 486 family of shotguns. And the barrel type, it has Optima bore HP tri-block barrels, and of course OCHP chokes, as well as a stock drop, if you care about it, 37/59, a 10x5.5 top rib, and also again, I mentioned it's considered a stock splinter. So with that being said, folks, thank y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I'll do more of these as the weeks go by. Yeah, and if you have any more questions, drop a link or drop a comment in the comments section, and the link is below in the show notes. And yeah, man, let me know how y'all loving the 28 gauge. If you have this gun, tell me a story about it. Leave a story in the comments, folks. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for me to let you guys know when the next notifications and firearms reviews or any kind of reviews from any of our sponsors come up. All right, folks, thanks, and we'll catch y'all on the next episode.